Joining me in the studio this morning from Monmouth College, we do have our Senior Director of Marketing, Keri Dodson. Good morning, Keri.
Good morning, Vanessa.
We also have the President of Monmouth College, Dr. Patricia Draves. Good morning.
Good morning, Vanessa.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Everybody have a good 4th of July?
Oh, yeah, really good 4th of July golf and fireworks. It was a lot of fun.
Perfect.
So.
Yeah, mine was family and,
Yep.
fun and obviously celebrating our nation.
Yes. Well, I'm so glad you guys are here. Time to do an update. It's mid-July, it feels like, and right around the corner. Is it going to be back to school? So I know my teachers just went, stop, Vanessa, don't say that. But it's for real. Let's talk about enrollment, Dr. Draves. Take us through the enrollment process, what we look like.
Yeah, absolutely. Vanessa, I don't know if you know, today marks the 1-year anniversary. I've been the president. So happy to have red, and thank you for wearing your M. You know, part of our focus over the last year has been on 5 priority pillars, and enrollment being the most important one as we want more Monmouth graduates out there in the world. And so we've worked hard. Our faculty have developed programs to recruit students, and our admissions staff got some new training. And so we are looking forward to welcoming a class, probably about 50 students more than last fall. So, and they'll have the benefits of a Monmouth education.
Okay. And those students, we talk every Monday with Nathan Believa. He's the SID. We talk a lot about our student athletes on campus. It's 62% nearly of our student enrollment.
Yeah, of the incoming student enrollment. So, and a little less overall, but that's a nice balance. Obviously, we've got wonderful facilities. Got a strong class in football coming in, and kind of looking forward to having them take the field. But one of the other things, we have a lot of music students coming in, so about 70 students overall that will be participating in some of those as well. And a nice engineering class and nursing class coming in at 20-plus students each.
Okay, that's what we were going to check too, because that nursing was a new program in coordination and combination with OSF Healthcare to help create more nurses, more healthcare professionals. And so good to know that started out on a high note.
Oh, yeah. So we have 26 students that are part of the inaugural class. The faculty are coming down in August from OSF to help celebrate them. Actually, they're going to come down a couple of times.
Yeah,
So.
and I think the nursing facility or the nursing lab we'll have in CSB is just about done. So stay tuned on our social media accounts to see kind of what that looks like once we get all the equipment in there, and it's going to be exciting. So.
Yeah.
Okay. And fundraising, another important pillar of Monmouth College. Tell us about your fundraising.
Yeah, over the last year, obviously I've spent a lot of time just getting to meet our alumni across the nation. They love Monmouth and really want to give back to the school that's launched both their careers and their profession, and in some cases their marriages, depending on where they're at. But, we raised over $5 million, 5.5, I think, last year. But one of the most exciting parts was the engagement at our Scott's Day of Giving. So we've had that 10 plus years, and it was our biggest fundraising year ever, coming in at like 350,000 and 916 people donating. So that was pretty exciting. Those were pretty ambitious goals. Compared to where we were last year, but we did it.
That was able to support the new audio system in Dahl Chapel and Auditorium, which is for use for everyone in town. We have so many different activities and events, especially music-related, theater-related, things like that occur. And so it's free and open to the public a lot of times for the events at Monmouth College. So it's nice that that's a community, a community-wide investment. And then, of course, the new outdoor basketball court, that was 200 donors.
Yeah.
I
think a lot of people really recognize how beneficial it is to have student spaces on campus where they can hang out and kind of gather and really just enjoy their time and not have to go. We have obviously the indoor field house, but just to have that outdoor area for students.
Sure. Good game of pickup ball, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like it.
Capital improvements.
Yeah, so, this summer is always filled with projects.
Yeah.
So we have, important things like new roofs being put on certain buildings. But the one that we're probably most excited about is the 2 fraternity projects that are underway right there on across from Wallace Hall, the main part of campus. So our ZBT and SIGEP fraternities. So the alumni of those two fraternities raised over $930 million to do the renovation. Not 1,000, 930,000. Yeah. Big slip there. In order to raise, that other one would be great. But we're looking, forward to that as well. And then a renovation to our softball field that's still underway as we look to kind of raise the profile, especially of all our facilities to make sure that student athletes have the best.
Okay. Well, the current complex, the fraternity complex that's over on Euclid, what are we going to end up doing with that facility?
Right now, that's targeted for demolition, although we have some architects coming in this summer to help us rethink some of the buildings on campus of how they could be repurposed and what are some opportunities. So I have a long list, and I think in
a lot of projects
end of this month, we've got a group coming in of architects and some educators just to help us think. I've got some ideas, but we've got to match kind of engineering realities with dreams of a college president.
Pillar number 4, financial future. Of course, the entire community always wanting to make sure that the financial future is a successful one at Monmouth College. Kind of set the stage for us with that.
Yeah, I mean, every leader of an organization, especially college presidents, are trying to balance multiple things, right? Keeping a college affordable, the quality of the education, and then the financial health of the institution, right? So it's a balancing act between those pieces. The blessings at Monmouth is that we have a strong endowment, about $140 million, which is much larger than kind of our peer institutions, which gives us a stable, platform, right? Moving forward. And then, how do we responsibly use the resources that we have? Right, enrollment growth does bring, obviously, in revenue as students pay tuition, and so that's part of the important. But that endowment and our very loyal donors that consistently want to give back kind of give us some financial health that other institutions don't enjoy.
Okay. Your audits have been good so far, too. The key financial health ratios remaining in the healthy range. That's according to the report, which was neat. You put out a 2024-2025 Rooted in Legacy, Growing Our Future, year number 1, if you will. Yes. So it's a pamphlet in my hands, but it's also a digital copy that provides all of the 5 pillars and how each of the pillars have progressed through the first year of your presidency.
Yeah, and we thought it was important for people to know some of the numbers. Sometimes there's things that are mysteries, and I have been very committed to, it's information. The scientist in me also likes numbers and math, and so I think I will say some of the feedback on the report has been we love the measurables because it helps us understand versus sometimes
just telling it, without the numbers or not even telling it, right? We're creating that transparent culture, and it's good.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And Pillar 5, of course, is digital transformation. Boy, that's an everyday, 24-hour a day, 365 a year process.
Yeah, and we had some deferred maintenance. This has been I won't say a pet project of mine, but it's really important that we get the tools that students need to learn, right? That is the foundation, and that the faculty and staff have the tools in order to, help students learn through their teaching or through the work of the college. Back when at an earlier time in my life, my first administrative gig, I helped launch a laptop initiative in the late 90s on a campus. So this has been kind of in my blood, for a long time. But year 1 was focused on just better infrastructure. So, lots of new, 316, I think it was, or more they just installed another one, 317.
Oh, okay.
You know,
You gotta update.
Wi-Fi
Yep.
access points, network switches, getting laptops in hands of everybody that works at Monmouth, so they have portability as well as, and then obviously a focus on educating the workforce on AI, so we can teach students how to use it responsibly, ethically, and to improve their learning.
Yes.
Okay. We're talking with Dr. Patricia Draves. She is the president celebrating 1 year at Monmouth College. Keri Dodson with us, too, Senior Director of Marketing. And we'll move into the latest information, which is your new academic structure. Talk about the curricular efficiency you've been trying to achieve at Monmouth College.
So, you know, when I got to Monmouth, you know, I had the good fortune to have been a college president elsewhere and an academic dean for 11 years prior to that. So the academics is obviously, you know, part of my blood. But looking at the portfolio of academic programs, you want to make sure you're, again, balancing that affordability, quality, and future focus for students. And so we took I talked to the board really, probably during the interview process about the need to do that, and when the right timing was. And so that we just decided to do it right at the beginning, look at what programs can we invest and grow, since our number one goal is to grow. What programs that, you know, hey, we need to maintain and have some focus on, and what programs that are really just not in demand by students overall. And so we went through that program portfolio analysis, or a program prioritization, some places called, with a group of 6 faculty members, an AD, a couple of vice presidents, and 3 non-voting board members to make some recommendations that we released in the beginning of the month. But part of that was to focus our time and attention on new academic schools.
Yeah. And with the academic schools comes benefits as well. So we're still working through some of the process of transitioning into those. But it does lead to stronger advising and mentoring for students with broader advising networks, as Pat mentioned, with curricular design. So really looking to kind of enhance that. And then just that stronger interdisciplinary collaboration is kind of what the schools will provide for us. So
Okay.
it's exciting.
So-
So we have 6 schools.
Yes. Go ahead and tell us about the 6 newly established schools.
Yeah, so the schools are the School of Business, the School of Health and Natural Sciences, School of Engineering, Sciences and Innovation, School of Education and Human Development, School of Communication and Creative and Performing Arts, and the School of Humanities and Civic Engagement. I will say, when I first heard about the schools and how we were moving to that structure, my alumni hat went on, and I was really excited about that potential, and just, you know, saying you graduated from the School of, Communication and Creative and Performing Arts, or something like that. I thought it was a cool thing as an alum to hear. So
Okay. What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2018.
2018. Okay. And Dr. Draves, so we have the 6 schools of business. Kind of talk to us a little bit about how some colleges and universities, things are shifting, they're changing in what students are wanting. And some of the decision making was based on the total number of students in certain programs.
That's correct. So there was multiple things going on. Is how do we put together the programs that we're moving forward with in a academic structure that's going to support them. What are some things that we're going to have majors in, some minors, or some just coursework? We are committed as a liberal arts institution to carrying that. We know that the skills, the liberal arts skills, are the durable skills that are going to help you move seamlessly through lots of different careers, right? And we've seen that with our alums over and over again. Yep. So that was the core anchor of our commitment kind of moving forward. But, but there's some academic majors that students are just not pursuing. And, we have several of those where we had 1 or 2 students, and we made the decision to phase those out because 2 different reasons. First of all, to have qualified faculty for 1 or 2 students is a financial resource. But more importantly, we want to make sure that students have a good learning environment. And that requires other students to study with, do projects with, go out in the field with. And that wasn't possible with just one student in a major over the course of the 4 years. And so we decided we'd still have maybe courses in those areas to have students exposed as part of the breadth of a liberal arts education, but not necessarily offer the major.
Okay. Are there any other announcements, changes you see coming in a year, or you really just want to focus on these 6 schools of business and we'll reconvene in a year?
A lot of this year will be kind of revamping some of the curriculum.
Okay.
And under the schools, but more holistically. So our core curriculum will look a little bit different moving forward, and our faculty is charged with that. And then moving to a different credit system as we prepare for more students, transfer students moving forward. We want to make sure that that's smooth for them, and our credit system right now makes that a little bit bumpier. It actually is not that bumpy, but students perceive it as such. And so there'll be a lot of curricular changes kind of moving forward.
Okay. All right. It is 8:29. Wow, time is flying by. Dr. Draves, I just want to give you a chance to reflect on your first year as president of Monmouth College. And for our audience, if you could provide us with a short Reader's Digest version of where is higher education going across the country? It's one big giant industry, and of course, it's close to our hearts here in Monmouth. Kind of, you get a chance to go to conferences, a lot of research. Kind of give us an update as to, in general, where higher ed is at.
Yeah, so just first part of your question is just reflections on the first year. First of all, you've heard me say this on the show before. It's just great to be back, and this support of this community and the surrounding area. They have really expanded the classroom for our students, right? Whether that's the local schools, whether it's nonprofits, you taking on interns, those types of things. And so that is a blessing that so many colleges don't enjoy, and our students get to benefit. So thank you for that. In terms of higher education, we're kind of in a difficult place right now as an industry, that the media for over 20 years has really touted, the cost of higher education. Is it worth the investment? Has showcased some stories that of people that don't have degrees that have done well. They are very much in the minority, right? If you're talking about Steve Jobs or one of those, if you look at computer science students that dropped out of school, they're not doing so well, right? They're living in their parents' basements. But there's the, who gets the news media. There's, obviously over the last, since January with the new presidential administration, there's been some new challenges with executive orders and making sure that access to funds and loans for students make higher education possible. I obviously have dedicated my life to the development of young people and college education, but I believe it's the great equalizer, and it helps people move from sometimes out of poverty into, a life that is much better, both economically, health-wise, and making sure that all people have access to higher education is a high priority and something I've advocated strongly for. I was so delighted, for the last 3 years I've been advocating, both in Washington and both when I was in Iowa and now Illinois around, the family farm piece of that being part of the assets for federal financial aid. I was glad to see last week that has been removed. So 3 years of just touting the family farm is not equal to a yacht, and shouldn't be included in some of the expenses. But we've got some new challenges, with higher education. But there's also opportunities, the opportunities that, things like AI bring that that students can learn and access to new careers moving forward. But those liberal arts skills are always going to be needed kind of moving forward. So I choose to look at the world through where are some of the opportunities and, for our students. And the world is always going to need people that can problem solve, can think, can communicate moving forward. And so that's where we're going to focus because they're going to shine and help us solve a lot of problems.
They're our next generation of leaders. So,
And,
Okay.
Yeah, and then, the group of students right now that's coming in really wants to solve some of the bigger societal issues and world issues or ecological issues, and we're happy to help them.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you both for the update.
Thanks,
Thank you
Vanessa.
so much.
Yeah, good to see you both. That is Dr. Patricia Draves with us, president of Monmouth College, Keri Dodson, senior director of marketing.